Hello friends, this is Dr. Manoj K. Sharma. Today from AQ platform, I am discussing a very important issue that is expected for your mains examination, okay, in regard to sedition law. 124A, section 124A of Indian Penal Code. The debate around it has been associated with the two major aspects. One, whether somewhere it is taking away the very fundamental right that has been granted under Article 19(1)(a), and the second, that whether it is being used by the parties in power to somewhere silence their critics. Let's see what it is all about. I will provide you some basic information. By chance, a question comes in prelims that why 124A? So it means it was added later. Okay, all that aspect, who was the first person to be charged under this particular act, okay, who was sentenced finally, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, that all we will be seeing. So let's see what it is all about. When it cropped up recently, you all are knowing why we are discussing. Chief Justice of India, Justice Ramana, has made an observation that don't you think that time has arrived that we repeal this law, the central government, which is actually repealing various state laws, should it not consider repealing this law as well? Fine, friends. So let me take you to some basic facts initially. A quick discussion on the basics. Okay, what is this particular section? What it reads? Section reads, whoever by words, either spoken or written, or by signs, or by visible representation or otherwise, brings or attempts to bring into hatred or contempt, or excites or attempts to excite disaffection towards the government established by law in India shall be punished with imprisonment for life, to which fine may be added, or which may extend to 3 years, to which fine may be added, or with fine. Now the question is whether a criticism made against the government policies in an independent India will also amount to sedition. Can it amount to sedition or not? You must have heard that Kerala High Court, while granting interim bail in a case registered in the Lakshadweep against a filmmaker, they have observed that every speech is not going to really create that hatred which can incite violence, and they have granted interim bail. Anyway, let's see where we are heading for. Now, with which article it comes. So when you are answering for mains, important aspect is that you never forget to somewhere mention Article 19(1)(a), because there the debate on various occasions has come into being. Article 19(1)(a), we all are knowing, it grants us freedom in regard to expression, freedom of speech and expression. That's right. Now, you are seeing clause 2 also with it, okay, which was substituted later for another 19(2) by Prime Minister Nehru government, in order to make this law very comprehensive. And why it came, the history part of it I will be discussing with you. Now the thing is whether this, we say it is not an absolute right. Correct. No right can be absolute, because if by the speech or expression someone is actually providing divisive ideas, and there are chances that someone can follow that and is really bent upon it, definitely such a speech should be subjected to restrictions. Okay, we have seen it. Public order was the word that was added, especially here. Decency or morality Okay, sovereignty and integrity earlier were also there, and the security of state earlier were also there. Where we are heading, let's see the history at work. IPC initially was not having it. It was added in 1870. Okay, it was added in 1870, and a very what an excuse was taken that it was dropped from the original IPC draft by mistake. This is what English people told us. Okay, Macaulay was the one who insisted on its insertion. Bal Gangadhar Tilak may be asked in prelims who was the first person to be convicted for it. So Bal Gangadhar Tilak was the first person to be convicted. He was sentenced for 18 months of prison on this regard. Okay, when he actually published an article in his newspaper Kesari. Fine. Now, after independence, how it has been? You must have actually heard or seen in the newspapers that Chief Justice of India made an observation that a law which in colonial era was used to somewhere provide restrictions on people like Mahatma Gandhi, Tilak, etc. Do you think it is of any use? So name of Mahatma Gandhi can also be very useful. Anyway, let's come to some more facts related to it. The word sedition was dropped from the constitution. Okay, and a resolution in this regard was passed by K.M. Munshi. He introduced the resolution, was introduced by K.M. Munshi. It was in 1951 that through First Amendment, the Constitution in Clause 2 of Article 19 was substituted in order to allow the government more powers to restrict 19(1)(a) freedom. Later, Indira Gandhi made Section 124A cognizable offense for the first time in India's history. Cognizable offense, you understand, a warrant is not required for making an arrest. It was Tara Singh Gopi Chand versus the state, Punjab High Court 1951, which actually forced the Nehru government to somewhere come for this First Amendment, because they clearly said that Section 124A of IPC is somewhere to be declared null and void, and Article 19(1)(a) should be given priority. Okay? Now, Debi Soren versus others, the state Patna High Court, 1953, 1954. In this case, what happened, why I have mentioned specifically these cases, do not think, we are not going in, do not think it is for judiciary, it is purely for civil services. Why this case? Because in this case, though the legality of Section 124A was not denied, but Debi Soren and two others, Eunice Soren and others, they were definitely acquitted from the charges of Section 124A. So what we are seeing right from 1951, we are seeing courts are coming up and somewhere acquitting people, freeing people. In Debi Soren versus others, the case was that these people were actually at an assembly of Adivasis, were somewhere making the statement that Bihar government has not done enough for them or is not doing enough for them, and they have opened fire on the groups of Adivasis who have been demanding for a separate Jharkhand. Anyway, what is more important for you is this Kedarnath Singh versus State of Bihar case, because this is the case where a 5-judge constitution bench, decided upon the validity of Section 124A law. They upheld it, but they also made a statement that the presence of pernicious tendency to incite violence is a precondition to invoke the sedition clause, and that the penal provision cannot be used to stifle free speech. So, court, even in 1962, they said yes, considering the times, this law may be seen valid and legal, but it should not be used to stifle the free speech that has been granted under the celebrated principle of constitutionalism. That has been granted under the celebrated principle of constitutionalism. Okay? In 2011, Supreme Court yet again stated that only speech that amounts to incitement to imminent lawless action should be considered as a case fit for sedition, otherwise not. Law Commission of India, in its consultation paper on sedition in 2018, observed that while retaining the offense for sedition was essential to protect national integrity, it should not be used as a tool to curb free speech. So, what we are seeing till here, before we have reached the recent one where Editors Guild have come out with a case, one retired Major General has also come out, and Supreme Court, the bench under the CJI, Ramana is taking up, where, what is the background? You are seeing question mark has been there right from 1949, Debi Soren cases of 1949 speech. Though, finally, it was taken up by Patna High Court in 1953-54. We are seeing that right from the beginning, some question marks have been there that whether the governments can have a tendency to use it to somewhere silence the criticism of their policies to which people or a section of population may not be agreeing upon. Now, recent context. It sought the response of the center, that is Supreme Court, on pleas including one filed by the Editors Guild of India challenging the validity of the provision. A bench headed by Chief Justice N.V. Ramana said that the main concern was misuse of law. The main concern is misuse of law, and asked as to why the center, which is repealing state laws, was not getting rid of this provision. The dispute about law is concerned, it's colonial law. It was meant to suppress the freedom movement, and with the law which was used by British to silence Mahatma Gandhi, Tilak, etc., still is it necessary after 75 years of independence. So, whether the conditions still are prevailing, where we need to somewhere have such type of laws under which we give extraordinary powers to our policemen. This is what you will see, statements made by Justice Ramana, where he is saying that it is like enormous power of this section can be compared to a carpenter being given a saw to make an item, but he is using it to cut the entire forest instead of a tree. He also said that so vast powers of a police officer are, who wants to fix anybody, even for playing cards or gambling, can fix in it. The question is, why we are discussing it again? You must be aware of how this particular law has been used on certain cases. See, we are not saying here that government was wrong. No, sometimes interpretations of the officers who are using it may be taking a particular extreme side. In a free country, do we really require such laws? Okay, so discussion is about it. For the purpose of answering, you will be using the observations made by Supreme Court, High Courts if the question length is allowing you, observations definitely made by the current bench headed by CJI, Ramana, and also we will take an account how the Attorney General of India, K.K. Venugopal, has been trying to defend that no, we require this section. I will take you to one discussion in it, which was going on when the Attorney General and the bench headed by CJI, they were into it. The idea of any law may be seen valid for a given period of time. The question will arise that why in 1962 it was actually seen valid, and why in 2021 its validity can be seen in question. Circumstances. Are we not a stable society now? Are we not a stable society now? Do we still require such laws which somewhere can give governments extraordinary control on its people, especially when it is a democracy? What will amount to sedition? A law X is passed. Somebody is in disagreement with that law. They are protesting against it. Whether a statement made by one of the leaders in that group can attract the charges on section 124A or not. That's right. Though in various observations, courts have been trying to draw a fine line of distinction that, see, till the time it is not inciting violence. Kerala High Court in a recent case. Okay? Or Kedarnath Singh versus State of Bihar, Supreme Court. Till the time it is not seen reasonably sure that a particular speech is having the power to create hatred amongst the groups, to create hatred in a group against the state, or it is not something that can go to incite violence, this law shall not be invoked. That's right. This section shall not be pressed as a charge on any speaker just to curtail the free speech of that person. For the purpose of answering, how you will frame an answer for means, where you have to finish your answer in around 150 words. Just take one line on the historical aspect. You will start with the context of Article 19(1)(a) versus Section 124(a), just one liner. Then it was introduced in 1870. Okay, do not write Macaulay. If you remember, then fine, otherwise don't write. And in the same line, it was Bal Gangadhar Tilak was the first person to be convicted under it. Now come to recent times. In free India, because that was British India, in free India, a debate always has been there, and then take it out. Why I am saying take it out right from 1951? Because that will show that the debate is not of recent origin. It is not because that some people are against a particular group government or a particular government, and then suddenly that government has been doing it. No, that is what CJI sir has also said, that it is not of a particular government. All the governments have been using it, and the issue has been coming up again and again. So it's not XYZ party, it is beyond, because it is from 1951. Okay, it is from 1951, where we are seeing that how it has been coming. The first case is Tara Singh Gopi Chand versus the state of Punjab, where Punjab High Court made a specific statement declaring it null and void. But then in our parliament, Prime Minister Nehru government came out with an amendment. What was the amendment? Let me show you that. This one which is shown in red, this was the amendment, which added the words like public order, decency or morality in order to somewhere provide some sort of power to the government to be able to impose restrictions on the speech which may be seen endangering integrity, security, etc., public order, etc. Now the thing is, we are living in a free state. Social media has come up. Other things have come up. And one more thing, it was also made an observation by CJ Iser that as Section 66A of IT Act has been misused, and though it has been somewhere written off, striked down by the apex court, still in some states people are booked for their observations made on the electronic media platforms. So he is of the opinion that similarly this law is also used. One more fact, children, while answering, you will be using is the conviction rate. Conviction rate, that is also a very important thing. Whether conviction rate is high or low, extremely low. And for this we will use the data from Ministry of Home Affairs itself, where they are saying that out of 97 cases, in only 2 cases conviction has been possible. So if I say briefly, roughly about percentage, it is 2% or 3%, less than 3% it is. Okay. Now, as CJ Iser has observed that though the person may be acquitted at last, but the process in itself amounts to a sort of punishment, because you will be arrested, you will be kept behind the bars, initially you may not get the bail so easily, all those things may take up. So process in itself will bring harm to the person against whom such a law has been used. Now friend, they seek your opinion, okay, in the examination, because you are not appearing for an examination of judiciary or in it, so that legal angle should have been highlighted. If I would have been making a discussion in regard to judicial exam, I would have gone in the details of Devi Soren case and all that, okay? The observations especially which were made, they should have been used. But here we have to quickly see that what is the larger picture, as was said by the courts also, that in larger picture has to be seen of the entire speech, not just 1 or 2 part of the statement that I underline it and I put someone that, okay, this statement has been said, so it means section 124A can be somewhere used. Courts have said the larger meaning, what it is going for, need to be taken. But now the debate is whether the time has come to repeal it. Somebody may say that no, it should not be repealed, as Attorney General himself has said that we require this law, though guidelines may be provided in regard to its application, so that it is not misused or the chances they are minimized of its any sort of misuse. Fine friends, so do not forget to put it in bullets, pointers. 2 points. First point, where it is versus. Second point, historical aspect. Third point, fourth point, the initial case laws. Fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth will have the Law Commission observations, the Apex Court observations, and the current debate. They should be taken up in final 3 points, the current court observations that need to come. If you can remember these can be very handful, because they are somewhere straight away giving the strength of opinion which courts of law are carrying now. Fine friends, so the topic looks difficult, lot of literature is available on it, but important is how to put it in a frame that in the examination it can be used. So this is where you will be going. The debate has come up. Remember, whatever you are writing in the examination is a considered opinion in the light of judgments or in the light of observations made by judiciary. It is a case to be seen where judiciary and the parliament are somewhere in a sort of discussion. That is the nature of case. So here the executive is being directed and an opinion is also passed to the legislature that, sir, don't you think the time has arrived that we come out with a fresh law to deal with the reservations of the government and the law of colonial era, which was giving sweeping powers, so vast powers, sweeping powers to the executive, they somewhere are done away with. Fine, friends. So we will be back with something more important where it will be almost short to appear for the examination. You can take notes later from the slides. Slide by slide you can pick up. Every information that is required is there. Okay. One more point that I would like to add, the observations from the side of government, Attorney General of India, you understand, is speaking from the side of the government. So what he is speaking means that is the view of the government. That need to be definitely taken up when you are finishing it. Okay. So a balanced opinion need to be given. Do not forget the chronology, because things which have something in them where really a question for their validity exists, it will not just come up suddenly because of some event, because of some party. No, it must have been in existence right from its beginning. So like black box model of public policy of David Easton, you can see it that we said that it was removed from the constitution by a resolution by K.M. Munshi sir. So you understand that, okay, people have been having discussions on it right from the beginning, where some people were not sure that should it be there or not. And now in 1950s and 1960s, still some people could have said that Indian society has not grown up as an integrated society. So integrity can be at risk. We still are a society where some words can incite a group against another group. Are we in the same state, or we have matured enough? So here I will end up this discussion. With a thank you to you, all of you. See it. Make notes of it. It is almost a short question for your mains examination this year, and it is going to be in news. So for next year also. For prelims purpose, year 1870 when it was introduced, name of Macaulay, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, the first person to be there. They can be, and even Article 19(2) substitution through First Amendment can be asked. Fine, friends. So thank you very much. God bless you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.